Hey guys, how's it going out there today? I hope you guys are doing really well and having a great day. As much as I'm having a great day today, it's Friday afternoon for me, actually Friday evening, working its way into Saturday morning. So this video will be for Saturday, and it's all about a Nike Air Max 90, the USA they're calling it, but it's a Flyease USA, and I have a lot of time for the Flyease line. Now the Flyease guys, they're not very well known, not many people know much about them, so hopefully what I'm looking to do in this video today is twofold. I want to be able to tell you guys more about what the Flyease line is and what it means, what it represents, and why what it represents means that we can forgive them for some pretty unusual design elements on their shoe, and then get into this actual Air Max 90 and look at the detail on it that makes it one of the cleanest drops of the summer season. So without further ado, let's get into this video about Nike Air Max 90 USA Flyease. This is a Tokyo Butter 23 Sneaker Channel. Tokyo Butter 23 Sneaker Channel des. 毎日アップするので毎日見てください. Every single day from Tokyo, Japan, I bring you content about upcoming sneaker releases, sneaker news, and sneaker reviews. And today, what we're looking at is a Flyease, the Nike Air Max 90 Flyease USA. Air Max 90s, you can't do an Air Max 90 video this year without talking about it being the 30th anniversary of the Air Max 90s. And because of that, they're dropping an awful lot of interesting sort of variants on the Air Max 90. They've done some pretty interesting throwbacks to what's come from before. The Lahar was a particular shoe. I remember that it was a real throwback to the 80s. And then we've had other things like the home and away kit and stuff like that. So so then they're coming out with the Flyease, which has already dropped earlier this year, which is a new thing, this new Flyease technology that they're talking about. And this video in particular is about the USA variant of that Flyease Nike Air Max 90. So first things first, as I said at the start of this video, let's talk about what Flyease is. And then at the end of this video, or the second half of this video, we'll get into the part that's all about the USA and what's so great about that. So first things first, let's look at a Jordan 1. Bing! There's an Air Jordan 1 right there, and what you'll be able to see, I think if I remember rightly, because I did this video a while ago, is you'll see the two different left and right shoes, one sealed if you like, or tied up, or all sort of in its unit, and then the other one, I think it's the right one, is actually unstrapped, so you can see how easy it would be to get into this Jordan 1. Now Jordan 1s, of course, if it's a mid or a high, take a little bit of getting into because they're up higher around your ankle, but you can see on the picture here that that whole ankle segment can be stripped away so that foot can slide right in there, and then you bring it back on with, I think it's a dual element on those Air Jordan 1s of a zipper that wraps around from the medial side to the lateral side, and then also a sort of Velcro ankle strap on there as well, which are two things you wouldn't normally find in the Air Jordan 1. At first I was kind of like, do we want to be doing that with Air Jordan 1s? They're a classic sneaker, but then I read into it and found out what this Flyease thing is, and it's to do with people who couldn't normally wear Nike sneakers, Jordan sneakers, Air Max 90s, that kind of stuff, so they've created a way that makes it easier for people to put their foot in them. And we're talking about people who have disabilities, we're talking about people who are injured, or people who have suffered some kind of foot trauma, or they have some kind of pre-existing condition that stops them from being able to get their foot into shoes, so they need that easy access, Flyease. So that's the whole story behind it, and I totally agree with it. I think it's a great thing, even though it means disrupting the design of classic shoes. And in the case of those Air Jordan 1s, even though they're in that classic colorway, you can see that they've definitely sort of played around with the design on there, so it's not the structure or the silhouette that you'd normally associate with an Air Jordan 1 completely. And then if we flip that up to today's shoe, which is the Air Max 90s, you can see very much is the back half of the shoe that has a very big spoiler. Now if you're from the UK and I say it has a spoiler in the back, you're probably okay, and you're like, yeah, I get that. If you're not from the UK, I don't know what you call it, but what we call this thing on the back of a car, that sort of thing that forces a car to, you know, as it speeds up, to push down onto the road to get more traction and then keep more control. We call that a spoiler. And then if we come back from looking at that spoiler on the back of the car to looking at these Air Max 90s, you can see it's that sort of elongated effect that sort of sticks out the back. And if it wasn't for the Flyease technology, I would hammer that. I remember, I think it was an undercover collaboration with Nike. I don't think it was Pegasus, it was undercover. I wish I could remember the name of the shoe. I'm sure I did a video about it, and I'm sure I can put a picture behind here. And you can see that back end of it looks very much like these Flyease, but it doesn't have any of that Flyease technology or that Flyease accessibility. This is just design, and I remember talking about the video for them and being like, no, that's yeah, gross. That's not nice at all. But it's almost identical to these Air Max 90 Flyease in that it's that sort of, I don't know, triangulated segment that looks like, I said, a spoiler sticking out the back of them. But in the case of these Flyease, that's to do with access. Now, these USA ones that are dropping in a few days' time, I think it's something like June the 19th they're due to drop, and this video will go up onto YouTube on June the 13th, so that gives us about a week before they're supposed to drop. But who knows about drop dates these days? The drop dates seem to be all over the place, and that's either to do with coronavirus or to do with the Olympics being cancelled. Whatever it is, the drop dates are just very unsure. So when I see these guys are dropping on June the 19th, you know, that's a 50-50 bet at best. But yeah, if we look at these the back end of these guys with that elongated bit on it, what I'll be able to do is I'll be able to bring up a picture of a different one, not the USA's, because I couldn't find a good picture of how that Flyease technology works on the USA's, but I could find it on this shoe here. This is an Air Max 90 in a different colorway, but you can see that whoever's wearing it, the athlete that's wearing these shoes, is using one foot to press down on that spoiler on the back of the shoe and sort of shrink or force the whole heel section to collapse in on itself, and it's not hinged as far as I can see. It's just that material that goes around the back there. That spoiler is a bendable rubber of some kind or plastic, and then you use your foot to push down, your other foot to push down on it, and create a slip-on effect where your foot can slip in, and then you release your foot, and that whole heel unit pings back up, and it wraps around your foot and gives you the support that you need from a trainer. So what they've done very successfully, if you ask me, is that they've managed to keep basically as much of the true silhouette of these Flyease shoes, whether it be the Air Max 90s or Jordans or any other, keep as much of the originality of the shoe as possible, but add that element of easy gliding it into your, getting your foot in there as easily as possible. And it's really cool, like if you look at this technology, you can see that triangular spoiler thing that bounces down and shrinks down, but within that you've got a fabric that can be kind of crushed, if you like. If that was leather, for example, it wouldn't work. Leather wouldn't be able to be sort of crushed down like that, but because it's a more man-made fiber, I'm going with a nylon or something like that in there, I would expect it can be sort of shrunk down so you can slide your foot in and ping back up and give you that support that you need. So so that's the technology, that's what Flyease is, that's the concept of it, that's the point of it, and then we actually have a look at it on this shoe. So let's come forward to the USA's here, and you can see that almost entirely the shoe is a Nike Air Max 90 silhouette. It's just that spoiler on the back that's different. All the rest of the shoe, the blocking, the materials, even the materials themselves are very standard Air Max 90 materials. Mesh on the toe box and leather throughout a lot of the other places on the shoe. Mesh on the midfoot as well, I think, if I'm remembering rightly. And it's very classic looking Air Max 90 from like 95% of the shoe, and then just that bit on the back to give that ease of access. So it is, you know, like I say, as far as design goes, I'm not a huge fan of the spoiler out the back just as design, but because of its functionality, I think you have to give it a yes. So then, putting that aside, looking at this shoe as far as details are concerned, classic USA colorway, red, white and blue. Really nice balance between the red, the white and the blue. It's not overly red or underly blue. There's enough of each of the colors on there to give it that pop of USA-ness. But speaking of that, it's unfortunate because I can't believe that this shoe due to drop on June the 19th, which would have been 5 weeks before the Olympics were due. It must have been designed to sort of ride the hype of Team USA getting ready to go to the Olympics and then doing well at the Olympics, and anything USA would have gotten a massive boost out of this year. But because the Olympics have been put back until 2021, if at all, then this shoe itself, though, has not got that USA hype to go with it. So it's kind of missing its time. It's now out of time by a year. It's out of sync by a year. And I've talked about this in a recent video. I can't remember which one it was, though. It must have been an Air Force One because there have been so many Air Force Ones. And actually, it was the Korea ones. It was the South Korea Air Force Ones because that was linked to the South Korean football team, which would have been playing at the Olympics in late July. But because the Olympics have moved, that that's not going to happen, but they didn't move the drop date for that shoe. And I said for that it was to do with how large how big a sort of, not propaganda, that's the wrong word for it, but like promotional unit that would have been required to bring out a shoe that's tied to a soccer team and the soccer players and the photographs of the soccer players wearing the shirts and the shoes and all that kind of stuff. And they couldn't delay the drop of the shoe without delaying the drop of the whole line. So they were like, well, even though the Olympics are postponed by a year, we can't postpone this Air Force One. But then I don't see the reason why they wouldn't postpone this Flyease Air Max 90 for 1 year until the Olympics are due to drop next year. So I'm not really sure why this particular one isn't getting pushed back, because it doesn't seem to be connected to anything else like teams or anything like that. But they can't do that. They can't just push every single shoe back to 2021. So maybe that's the reason why. But then looking at some of the details on this, it's got a really hot red swoosh on the side, which I really appreciate. And I really appreciate it in terms of the home and away pack that I was talking about earlier, because the home and away pack had very small jeweled swooshes on the side. But I like my swooshes a bit bigger, and they were back to the standard sort of size swoosh there. And that red complements really well with the red around the air unit. And then if you flip them upside down and have a look at the outsole, they've gone with a really nice red and blue outsole on there, which I thought was good of them, because they could have gone lazy and gone with something black there, like black and red or black and blue. But going with blue and red, I thought they put a bit of effort into the shoe, if you know what I mean. So, and then on other places, there's a few hits on there where the blue comes through on the mud guards, if you can call them mud guards, that run all the way through to that the back of the shoe, where there's that elasticated piece of fabric within the collapsible part of the shoe, and then up on the tongues as well, and those lace holders, those classic Air Max 90 sort of rubberized lace eyelets across the top of the shoe in that blue, and then the rest is sort of mostly white, especially with that mesh on the toe box, and you've got the leather that runs front to back as well. So you've got, like I said, a really good mix of the reds, the whites, and the blues in there, with that outsole as well to complement it all. So for me, it's a really nice, clean shoe. Really love the story of Flyease. I'm really happy to promote the idea that people need, who don't have access to shoes that they can't wear, and then having this way to access them. I'm all for equality and equity and those kind of things. So I'm like a yes on this shoe in concept. I'm a yes on this shoe in design. I just think it's unfortunate that it's missed its time because of that whole USA Olympics thing. And that's my take on this shoe. So for now, it's time for me to sign off, and thank you guys for checking out the content. As I do this every single day, I can happily say thank you very much for doing that. And then when I end my videos, I say the same thing at every single one of my videos, which is I talk to you, and you in particular, and say thank you for watching my content. But because I do this every single day, you are guaranteed to see me tomorrow.